In a situation now that we were kind of expecting to be more of a straight line wind threat. But what happens on these lines of storms, you get these little spin up circulations within the line. They're hard to identify. They don't often last that long, but they can produce a tornado. And so we're just going to inspect this line for some kinks in it, if you will, and nothing really showing up, but certainly some straight line winds coming through. And then as we continue to the north, as we get up along I-69 here, a little farther to the north, we continue to see that area of just more enhanced straight line winds about to cross I-69. It is crossing right now near the community of is that Dongola, right there close to the Pike, Gibson County line. And finally, moving northward, we'll look at that circulation that has prompted the tornado warning, and that is not as significant, at least. Now, let me just back this up in time because it could be changing location here, but we'll pack this up about 10 minutes and identify, first of all, there's your circulation right there. This is at 9:06, so this is about 5 minutes ago, and then we take this to the next sweep, and we begin to lose its identity there. So it looks like that circulation is weakening right along the White River. This is getting pretty close to the community of Rogers, which is right on the river there between Pike, Knox, and Davies County. So that could be what is left of the circulation right there. But at least it does look a little bit weaker than it did earlier. And so that is some good news. So we're going to continue to watch this line. We'll go back to the more standard reflectivity here. And something else we look for as the line progresses are, again, these kinks in the line or where they're bulging out a little bit more. And that's associated with that little core of straight line winds I showed you earlier, that bright shade of red associated with that bulging part of the line right there. So that looks like it has an enhanced damaging wind threat. That's heading towards the Winslow area. Cato, you are in line to perhaps get it more significant 60 to maybe 70 mile per hour winds with that part of the line that is now crossing I-69. And then you have to watch these little notches on the back end of that to see if you see a circulation trying to spin up. But right now, that looks like an enhanced damaging straight line wind threat playing out just north of Oakland City along I-69, and that is going to be riding up into the Winslow area. And there's the new scan that just came over. Let's check the velocity on that. And it's not quite as pronounced as it was earlier. We'll look at the raw velocity. It's a little bit there, but certainly that's a potential for more significant straight line winds right there. You got the weaker part of the storm pushing into Oakland City. It's right along I-69 now in southern Gibson County, and getting into Vanderburgh County. It's pushing into Elberfeld. It's getting into the Darmstadt area. And then down here in Evansville, we're awaiting the arrival, which kind of curls back to St. Philip. So watching that part of the line there. And we'll just look real quick at the velocity data here. Not seeing anything that really stands out that looks overly concerning, but there could be pockets of damaging 60 mile per hour winds anywhere along that line as it progresses into the city of Evansville. So that's the line in detail. Let's back out here and kind of show you the bigger picture, how things are going to be playing out across the rest of the tri-state. And it looks like that tornado warning, we'll see if they're going to, any indication, Stacey, if they're going to extend that after 9:15?
They haven't indicated that they're going to extend it, so it should expire. Now, the one up in southern Knox County, they are going to allow that to expire. And you can already see that they kind of extended a severe thunderstorm warning east of that into Davies County. So Wayne has been kind of tracking that area up there for you. But yeah, we should know here from the Weather Service out of Paducah about the tornado warning for northern Gibson County over into Pike County here shortly. The only reports I see have been kind of running through the different chats from the different National Weather Service offices for you. Pea-sized hail was reported at the Toyota plant there near Princeton up in Gibson County. Now, they were a little bit south of where that tornado warning was issued, but certainly that entire line and that gust front went through that area. But again, not seeing any other real reports of any kind of wind damage or very large hail so far. We've gotten several reports, or we did probably about 10 to 15 minutes ago, of some maybe lowering clouds, maybe a funnel trying to get going around I-69 and I-64. That was right, though, when that gust front was moving through. So again, it looks like even that threat should be moving east of there now. But it looks like, it looks like they let that expire. So
County.
Okay.
Severe thunderstorm warning, Northwest Perry and Dubois. Do they have any details on that? And as you mentioned, they did let that tornado warning expire up along the White River. So good news there. But now
so
new
the one
severe
for
thunderstorm.
Dubois County, severe thunderstorm. That's going to go until 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central. Severe thunderstorms located along the line that we've been tracking for you. 9 miles north of Washington to near Oakland City, to near Mount Vernon, Indiana. They have it moving east at 40 miles per hour. Some other times we've had these warnings, they've picked it up a little bit to about 50, but anywhere from 40 to 50 mile per hour on the speed, and they're mainly concerned with 60 mile per hour wind gust and quarter-sized hail. So just kind of your normal severe thunderstorm warning right there, and that's going to be in effect for Dubois County, northwestern Perry County, and northwestern Hancock County again until 10 Central, 11 Eastern.
All right, and now it's game on for the city of Evansville. This will be our severe thunderstorm, the main event here of the evening, pushing in from the northwest. And even though we're not in tornado warning coverage right now, we will stay on air as this continues to move. And just as I said that, it looks like we do have a new tornado warning up in eastern Pike County associated with that circulation that we've been looking at here for the past 30 to 45 minutes. And it looks like it's a good chunk of Pike County there. Including, with the exception of those areas closer to I-64. So what are they saying about that, Stacey? This does include Winslow, and it's on that. Matter of fact, it's associated with that little surge of stronger winds that I was watching earlier.
Yeah, and that's for eastern Pike County. It's going to go until 10:30 Eastern. That's 9:30 Central. So right now, that only goes for about the next, 13 minutes or so. So we'll keep an eye on it. But they have it moving a little faster to the east at 55 miles per hour. It kind of makes sense, too, because like Wayne said, it's been kind of almost bulging out some and maybe picking up a little speed. But they are thinking that it is a severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado located over Winslow, again, 8 miles east of Oakland City. And again, that will continue to move east pretty quickly at about 55 miles per hour. So again, it's radar indicated rotation, which has been what all of our warnings have been so far this evening, but they still feel that they're seeing enough on radar to warrant another tornado warning there for eastern Pike County, Wayne.
All right, let's zoom in on that cell. We're starting to see a little bit of rotation there. As I mentioned, this is very close to Winslow. It doesn't look all that clear here. Well, we got a new scan coming through right now, which takes it just crossing over Indiana 61 in the Winslow area. But look at the reflectivity, and you can see this notch right there. So that is most likely the circulation, and this one has not updated. We're going to see that update any moment, and that should put that notch somewhere in the Winslow area. So it looks like that's our best guide for where we have a possible tornado over central Pike County that is moving eastward there, and that's going to be pushing over into eastern Pike County, eventually towards Dubois County, but right now it is a tornado warning for really central portions of Pike County. You're okay down towards I-64. The warning does go all the way down to 61 here, and 64, State Route 64. But it looks like the bigger threat is with this little notch right there, which is indicating a spin up of some sort. And that's what we're on the lookout for now. These aren't standalone supercell tornadoes that put out a very obvious signature. These are little circulations that are spinning up within the line. And we're seeing that right now in the Winslow area. So you want to be in your safe area in the city of Winslow and points off to the east. Of course, that's the lowest floor of your home, a basement, ideally, if you have one. If not, lowest floor of your home. You put as many walls between you and the wind as possible. And when you find that spot, you get underneath something. You get underneath a piece of furniture, mattress. You throw a blanket over your head. If you got a helmet, you put that on. Get shoes on your feet. And we'll ride this out pretty quickly. It shouldn't be lasting all that long as this line rolls on through. But the greatest threat is in the Winslow area, and then that would be points east of Winslow. And we just got the update there, and you can see that notch pretty much right over the Winslow area. So we'll zoom in a little tighter here and really try to pin down the more smaller communities here that are in line. So Cervantes there, White Oak, it's probably going to go kind of in between White Oak and Servant there, then over towards White Sulphur Springs along Indiana 257. That's the notch right there where we think we may have a possible tornado. Let's see if that lines up again with the velocity data that is coming out of the radar. And we're not seeing as much shear as we did earlier, but we'll just, that's somewhat encouraging. So it's not a big tornado by any means, because if it was, we'd see a much more defined signature here on the velocity data. But reflectivity, we continue to see that notch right there. So we will continue to keep a close eye on that. But if you're up in central Pike County, Winslow to Servant, White Oak, White Sulphur Springs, you want to be in your tornado safe area, as that line is now moving eastward and may be producing a tornado. Now let's ride the line down here into the Evansville area, because this is our main event beginning to play out. We got the leading edge approaching Linville. It's now into northwestern Warwick County, McCutcheonville, and now pushing into the west side. It is bulging out a little bit here on the northwest side of Evansville. Let's see if we're getting any returns on the velocity that would indicate enhanced straight line winds with that part of the line. Not seeing anything too bright. So hopefully nothing too extraordinary, but you can see that gust front now pushing into the city from the northwest. So let's take a look at our cameras here and see what it looks like in the downtown area right now. This is off the top of Fifth Third Bank looking out to the west. So we're looking out towards the west side. The Wrights Bowl is kind of right in the middle here if it was all lit up. So we're looking out in that general direction. And the winds have not hit downtown as of yet, because our camera pretty steady there on top of Fifth Third Bank. But that gust front is now pushing through the city, and we will continue to keep an eye on that. But as we get back to live radar here, we can see the leading edge of the gust front is right ahead of this shade of yellow. So pushing into Evansville now from the northwest, the potential for damaging 60-mile-per-hour winds. You can see the latest scan just came in, so it's hitting the northwest side. It's going to be now sweeping across the rest of the city here with that potential for damaging wind. I don't see a tornado threat at this point, but we'll watch this area here. Just seems to be a little bit of a bulge out from the main line that could indicate the straight line winds are a little more enhanced there, but not seeing all that much based on the velocity data. So that is the way it looks in the Evansville area. Let's get back to velocity, and where you see the red meet the blue, that is the gust front. So it's pushed through the downtown area now and should be crossing over 41 into the southeast side. Looks like it's now pushing across the north side, but not seeing any intense areas of red there. And remember, Henderson is not under a warning. All of Henderson County is not in this particular severe thunderstorm warning. We'll see if they extend that farther to the south. I don't see anything that really indicates that is necessary, but there's the potential along that line for some pockets of damaging wind. So riding the line to the north until we get up into the tornado-warned portion of the storm, and that would be over here. Let's get back to the reflectivity, and we still have a bit of a notch there east of Winslow, heading towards White Sulphur Springs, and then you get up along the White River here, and it looks like the leading edge of the storms are now through Petersburg. So you're on the back edge in Petersburg. Hopefully the severe threat winding down in Petersburg, you probably got about another 5 or 10 minutes. And then Dubois County, you have to deal with this, but we'll continue to watch what could be a little circulation there. It doesn't look quite as pronounced as it did earlier on Doppler radar here, but might have something trying to spin there east of Winslow, heading towards White Sulphur Springs, and eventually this would take it towards the Jasper area. But that decision will come from the Louisville Forecast Office. They will decide whether or not a tornado warning is necessary. Severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Dubois County right now. And they'll just keep an eye on that to see if there's any circulations that warrant a tornado warning farther to the east. Stacey.
Storm report that's just come in. You were just talking about Petersburg kind of getting on the back edge, or your severe threat there winding down. But when that line moved through Petersburg a little bit ago at 9:14, they reported a severe thunderstorm wind gust there, some wind damage in Petersburg and Pike County, some large tree limbs down, and also some power outages. They don't indicate how many, but at least with some of those larger tree limbs down, also affecting some power. And then also some large 1-inch size hail, so kind of pea to quarter-sized hail is what they've seen in the Petersburg area there. And so that's kind of, you know, we haven't had a lot of storm damage reports. It's kind of been what we've seen. Some trees down here and there, some limbs down here and there, and then some hail reports. I haven't seen any hail reports bigger than 1 inch, though, so far this evening. And then real quick before we send it back to Wayne, a new special weather statement for Davis County, Kentucky, Gallatin County, Henderson County, McLean County, Union County, Webster County, White County, Illinois. So again, this is kind of a step down from a severe thunderstorm warning, indicating that strong thunderstorms will affect these areas. Wind gust 50 to 55 miles per hour. So that's just under a severe thunderstorm wind gust, but still enough that it could knock some trees or at least some tree limbs down and some penny-sized hail. So again, a little bit under the severe criteria for that. But again, that is right now kind of a special weather statement for some strong storms with that part of the line, and I'm kind of zooming in on it here. So Wayne's been tracking the part of that line north of the Ohio River that's moving now into the city of Evansville, and then you can see kind of a secondary line just behind it, and I'll put a track on this for you. It doesn't have a severe thunderstorm warning on it, but again, at least the potential right now for some strong storms with that, and that's what's going to be kind of affecting maybe the far south side of Evansville, but then also the city of Henderson and also the city of Morganfield, and then more of our counties south of the Ohio River down in western Kentucky. So again, that kind of second line that's going to sweep through right after the main line will get into Morganfield here at 9:30. Really, it's on your doorstep. Breckenridge Center, 9:33, Corydon, and then Henderson about 10 minutes before 10 o'clock, and then Dixon at a 9:51. So again, we're all kind of eventually going to get this line, but that line for western Kentucky just a little bit behind the one north of the Ohio River. Wayne?
All right, and the storm continues to roll through Evansville. Doesn't look too bad on our tower cameras here. Let me clear out. It looks like we may have had an update on one of those tornado warnings, but you can see here on the southern end of the warned line, it is now continuing to push across the city, leading edge now pushing into the southeast side. Stacey, you got an update?
It's actually a new tornado warning. You were mentioning this will depend on what the National Weather Service out of Louisville wants to do, and they decided to go with a tornado warning for Dubois County. So I'm just getting that in here right now. That will go until 11 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock Central time, again, for Dubois County. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Winslow. That's where we've been tracking the kind of strongest and most part of that line that has the most potential for perhaps spinning up into a tornado. They have it moving east at 50 miles per hour. Again, still radar indicated, and maybe some quarter-sized hail with that storm too. But again, now a new tornado warning has been issued for Dubois County from the National Weather Service out of Louisville, and that is going to go for about the next 30 minutes until 11 o'clock Eastern time.
All right, so we will get up to Dubois County now and focus on that higher tornado threat. You can see the leading edge of that line now is approaching Indiana 257, right along the Dubois County line. Honestly, what I'm seeing on radar doesn't look quite as impressive in terms of a tornado threat like it did about 10 or 15 minutes ago when it was in the Winslow area. We've really lost that well-defined notch that we saw on the leading edge here, and I just looked at some of the velocity data, and it looks like we'd have another tornado warning update on that, Stacey, so check that out. And I'm not seeing the circulation as well defined, but Weather Service in Louisville is probably playing it safe here. This could certainly try to spin up again. Maybe a little bit of a notch right there on the leading edge, but there's the new updated sweep on the reflectivity. And I'll show you the velocity data here. Nothing that really jumps out at you like I was showing you earlier when there was a pretty clearly defined couplet there. So that's good news, but we could see something spin up along that line, which is now pushing into Dubois County, or will be very shortly, and that warning cuts off at Huntingburg. So north side of Huntingburg, you're you're in the warning. South side, you are not. So State Route 64 is kind of the southern edge of the tornado warning in Dubois County. But Jasper, you're right smack in the middle of that. And honestly, that's, if we've got a circulation, if you track it from the Winslow area eastward, it would take it right into Jasper. So if you're in Jasper, you need to have 1 foot in your tornado safe area as we keep an eye on this moving your way for a potential tornado associated with the line that is now approaching the Pike and Dubois County line. So that's the latest tornado warning that we have on the board. Now we'll ride this line to the south. And now we're just dealing with the potential for straight line winds in Warwick County, approaching Tennyson, Boonville. Leading edge is pushing through Boonville right now. Leading edge is into Newburgh. So the swath of strongest winds have now pushed across Evansville. Henderson, you're not under a warning, but you're beginning to see the stronger winds moving in from the northwest right now. Let's check our cameras and see if they are looking any more impressive in terms of the wind. We'll start with downtown Evansville. We've got the lightning, the rain. This is off the top of Fifth Third Bank, so we're way up, and we're not really seeing the camera rocking all that much. So that is good news. And we'll switch over to our Ellis Park Tower camera. This is looking over at the Highway 41 Twin Bridges. That is rocking a little bit there, looking off the top of Ellis Park. And finally, we've got our Henderson camera here. I believe, no, we don't. We don't have Henderson programmed in there right now.
We do have a live pic from Storm Tracker.
Yeah, and I believe Cody is in Storm Tracker now. We take a look at that, and I think he's somewhere along Highway 41.
I think he's driving north up 41. And real quick, you were talking about the wind in downtown Evansville. We did get just a peak gust at the Mesonet side in downtown Evansville of 35 miles per hour. So hopefully the winds through most of the city haven't been too bad, but that's the only report that we have gotten so far with that. And yeah, now you're looking at a live picture of Cody in Storm Tracker right now, I think heading up north on Highway 41.
All right, so Cody is moving northward into the more impressive line portion of that line that is over southwestern Indiana. We'll get back to our other cameras. So it's good to know so far the peak gusts in Evansville are in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range. And honestly, we haven't seen anything with our cameras that looks all that strong. So let's shift back off of that, get back to live Doppler radar here. And looks like they're just updating the warning now.
Just continuing the severe thunderstorm warning there.
Okay, and we've got the leading edge of that line now pushing into Henderson. But Henderson, you're not under a warning. Leading edge is pushing through Newburgh right now. And then as we move northward, you got the swath of winds hitting Boonville, about to hit Tennyson. And then as we head up towards the tornado warning, we got the leading edge of the line now crossing over into northwestern Dubois County. And it's along this line where we might have a circulation spinning up. We've got a few notches, nothing that's really definitive like we had about 20 minutes ago when this line was in the Winslow area. But let's just check velocity data once again to see if anything is showing up. Don't see anything too impressive there. Let's check the raw velocity. So yeah, right now I don't see anything that would scream a tornado, but that doesn't mean we can't have a small circulation somewhere in that line. And the Weather Service certainly saw enough from their perspective to go ahead with a tornado warning. But the good news is at least what we're seeing on radar, and another tornado warning update there, Stacy, not sure what that is, that might be coming in from Dubois County. You've seen any information on that?
It is.
Yeah, because we're not really, again, seeing that well-defined notch. There is a notch right there, and that would be up towards the Ireland area, but to nothing that is really notching into this line of reflectivity that is now pushing towards the city of Jasper. So
that actually, from National Weather Service out of Indianapolis, Wayne, a new tornado warning for southern Davies County, Indiana, and then Martin County, Indiana. So it's kind of still along the line, but a little farther to the north of the Dubois County warning. So they're concerned about southern Martin County and southeastern Davies County there. And that's going to go until 11 o'clock Eastern, too. Same time frame as the Dubois County tornado warning. But they're talking about a severe thunderstorm located 9 miles north of Jasper, moving east of Petersburg and moving east at 45 miles per hour. So just a little slower than our 50 mile per hour movement on the Dubois County storm, but not indicating any particular place there that they're picking up rotation. But again, just for the southern part of Martin County and the southeastern part of Daviess County, that's one of our fringe counties, but obviously we're on here for a little while, wall to wall. So we want to keep you updated on those too.
Hey, and that part of the line does look a little stronger than what's heading into Dubois County. We'll get back to the other system here, and you can kind of see a little more in the way of lightning associated with that part of the line versus what's coming into Dubois County. And again, we might have a little bit of a notch there just north of Jasper, but as we get up here along the Martin-Daviess County line, you see a much more intense area of cloud-to-ground lightning and a little bit of a notch showing up right there, which kind of fits the pattern more for a possible circulation. All right, we just got to, we're going to check in with Cody in a moment. He just reported in, he's up along I-69 with the gust front crossing over. But yeah, we may have something trying to spin up there. This would be just north of the White River, up along the far southern Daviess-Martin County line. We've got something trying to spin there. So that's one potential tornado, and that would be coming probably southeast of Alfredsville, and that little notch right there. Then you come down into Dubois County. If we got a notch that's doing anything, it's probably that one just north of Jasper that's crossing over 231. But as we look at, wind velocity here, nothing really jumps out. We start to see some blues up here as you get north of the White River, but not so much here with what's going on in Dubois County. But we could still have something trying to spin up. And I'm going to just double check with the radar coming in out of Louisville to see if it would have any better shot at this. It's got a clearer shot in from the southeast. It's not cutting through a lot of rain, but that is the storm relative, the raw velocity. So not seeing anything there in terms of additional data that might help us out. And looking at the reflectivity, yeah, you got about that same notch I was showing just to the north of Jasper, which would be probably your most favorite area. But it looks like the radar site out of Gibson County is probably still giving us our most detailed view. Another notch showing up here. So this, again, could be a situation where we have these little circulations that are trying to spin up within the line. There's a lot of wind shear out there. So even though most of this wind is coming through in a straight line, you get enough wind shear, which is basically winds changing speed and direction as you go up through the atmosphere, and you start to see these circulations spin up. They can produce a brief tornado to really enhance the damage. And we got a couple of notches here now, one approaching the south side of Jasper, the other one kind of between the river and Jasper, right along 231, and then another one up here to the southeast of Alfredsville. And that notch there kind of lines up with where you would expect a possible tornado to be, with the lightning and hail core up here to the northwest. So if you're in southeastern Martin County, and this would be likely south of Shoals, so here's 550, and Shoals is up there. So this looks to be that area of southeastern Martin County, really southern Martin County, south of US 50 there, south of Shoals and north of the river, where you got that potential for a tornado right there. And then we're also watching possible circulations here in Dubois County, just along 231, possibly north of Jasper, maybe one coming in to Jasper now from the west. But these are pretty ill-defined signatures, so we're not seeing anything, again, that screams tornado here, but we're just in that situation where it's difficult to pick these circulations out. We know the atmosphere is capable of producing these types of tornadoes this evening, and that's what we're trying to pick out as we move along that line. Let's head southward, check out the situation in Evansville. We should be pretty much done with the strongest winds here. Now pushing through the Newburgh area, it's just moderate to heavy rain in Evansville currently, so we're not seeing all that much in terms of organization. So it looks like the severe threat winding down for the Evansville area. And one other thing I want to do here is let's set the home map here and actually look at, well, you can see it in 3D. We'll worry about that later. I want to show you the lightning, because the lightning often gives us our best indicator. At least it's a red flag going up in terms of where you got the strongest storms. And you can see what's coming through Evansville. No real concentrations of lightning. Now, it does pick up with those two cells that have the tornado warnings on up here in southeastern Martin. and up in Dubois County. And we're also seeing quite a bit of lightning here over western Union County, in particular between Morganfield and Sturgis. So there's no warning on that particular part of the line, but that lightning is really beginning to ramp up. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that to see if it tries to organize and perhaps turn severe. As we check Storm Tracker, not sure what color table we have in there. That's the wrong color table. Yeah, that looks a little scarier than it actually is. So let me back up here and get back to our traditional radar. And we've got the tornado warnings continuing for Dubois, southeastern Martin counties, a severe thunderstorm warning now continuing for Evansville, but the threat now shifting east across Warwick County into Spencer County and then up into northwestern portions of Perry County. And then everything south is not warned on at this point. But as I mentioned, this part of the line here in western Union County is getting a lot of lightning on it right now. So we'll just want to check the wind on that real quick to see if we're getting anything in
While you're checking that, we did get a 43-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Henderson Mesonet site. That's Highway 41 and the Audubon Parkway. That was a little bit ago. And then just some pea-sized hail was reported on the south side of Evansville on Culver Drive. So again, hail reports so far have been fairly small, up to an inch, as big as I've seen from the reports. And so far, especially from Evansville and points to the south, our wind gusts have been certainly well below severe criteria. But Wayne again is checking out where there is a little more lightning down there coming into Union County, as now these storms are finally, at least the main line of them, moving into our western Kentucky counties.
Yeah, and having looked at the velocity data down there, nothing really jumping out in Union County, but certainly a lot of lightning, and we'll continue to watch that. Starting to see some somewhat brighter shades of red down here along the leading edge of the line that has now cleared the Evansville-Newburgh area and is sweeping into eastern Henderson County. There's no warning down there, but these could certainly be some 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, maybe getting a little bit stronger just based on what we're seeing here in terms of the velocity data. So we'll watch that part of the line, but the gust front is now right along the Warwick-Spencer County line. So if you're going to get damaging wind, this will be your main time of concern. And then up here to the north, we continue to see that line of storms crossing now east of Highway 231 and then continuing into southeastern Martin County. It looks like, Stacey, they just updated that tornado warning for southeastern Martin County as that line is now getting pretty close to the southeastern corner. It's pushing through Jasper, and we continue to see a little notch there in the Jasper area. So be curious to see if there's any enhanced wind coming out of Jasper. What are they saying for Martin County right now? So
they've allowed it to cancel the tornado warning for Davies County, but they are going to continue that warning for Martin County until 11 o'clock Eastern time. And again, southern Martin County still looking at a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 9 miles south of Shoals. That's 25 miles east of Petersburg now, and they still have it moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. Still radar indicated rotation. Again, every tornado warning that we have had here this evening has been for radar indicated rotation, and we've had a little bit of kind of scattered wind damage here and there, mainly some trees down or some tree limbs down and a few power outages reported, but nothing more than that being reported so far. So again, they are continuing that tornado warning until 11. So that's about another 17 minutes, 11 o'clock Eastern for southern Martin County up there, as that storm is about 9 miles south of Shoals, moving east at about 45 miles an hour.
All right. And looking at the storm pushing through Dubois County, we continue to get now a little more of a pronounced notch in the Jasper area. So if we've got any kind of circulation trying to spin up, that would be the most favored area. If Jasper's getting damaged, we should know that very shortly. But that threat, and they're updating that warning now, right now also, that threat should continue eastward right along Indiana 164. So that looks to be the most favored area for a possible tornado as this line advances eastward into eastern Dubois County. What are they saying?
Saying the same thing you are. They're saying the exact same thing. They are going to continue that tornado warning for Dubois County, and that's going to go until 11 o'clock Eastern time too. And they have the part of the thunderstorm storm capable of producing a tornado located right near Jasper and moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. Still radar indicated rotation, but again, they continue along that line, especially there near Jasper in that little notch to think that that is enough rotation indicated on radar to warrant that tornado warning continuing for about another 15 minutes there in Dubois County, including the city of Jasper.
Okay, so we'll continue to watch that because we are getting a bit of a signature, though the latest scan that just came in here looks like it is a little bit less defined than it was earlier. So let's pan the radar here. And you can see now that circulation, if we had one, is now east of Jasper. So the threat is now more in eastern Dubois County, in particular along Indiana 164, north of State Route 64, then south of the White River. But we have that second circulation that is now tucked into the southeastern corner of Martin County. This has a little bit more of an impressive notch right there. And now Shoals and Lagodi, you're okay. Lagody's there. Shoals, you're in some heavy rain and lightning, maybe some hail. But if we got a circulation, it's probably right there. That's actually headed towards the French Lick area in Orange County as that continues to move eastward. So that, again, is not our primary coverage area. You got the folks up in Terre Haute watching that a little more continuously than we are, but it's part of that line that has prompted the warning for Dubois County, which we do, of course, cover. And that part of the line now has cleared the Jasper area. It hasn't cleared, but the leading edge is pushed through Jasper. And it's along the leading edge where we have the best chances for damaging wind, be it a straight line or, in this case, possibly a tornado also. As we go southward, leading edge is now pushing into Dale. All these communities remain under a severe thunderstorm warning, so it's now pushing into western Spencer County, approaching Highway 231 in the northern part of the county, and then kind of right across southwestern Spencer County. The leading edge of that line is now moving on through. You head south of the Ohio River. We're out of the warnings. You can see the line becoming a little more ill-defined here, but some heavy rain coming down in Henderson right now. There's some lightning, but not too much until, again, you get back here towards the Union County area. Some in western Henderson County, decent amount there, but then this part of the line here, as you head south of Morganfield and Sturgis, you're in the clear now. That has had a little more lightning, especially that cell right there to the northeast of Sturgis, and that's going to be sliding into northern Webster County. So just keep your heads up there in Webster County as that somewhat stronger part of that line moves your way. But that is not under a warning right now. So this is everything in 3D. We can kind of see the tops on these storms. And sometimes if you see one of these look a little different than the others, but you can see all these updrafts here. So that just indicates lots of rising air, heavy rain. If they get high enough, that's where you start to get the hail formation. But everything looking pretty vertical there. And then you go through the line and you start to see something that looks a little different in shape, and that might be a red flag that you got some sort of circulation. So we're going now up towards the Dubois County area. There's Birdseye. Now we're looking at the storms that have the tornado warning on them, but not really seeing anything that kind of jumps out there. So we don't look at 3D all that often, but since we're under a tornado warning, we go ahead and do that. What I do want to look at once again is the lightning. Just get a quick snapshot in terms of where the most pronounced cloud-to-ground lightning is. And as you can see, it's pretty concentrated now in the Henderson area. We didn't get all that much in Evansville as the line came on through, but Henderson has a fair amount of lightning, and I believe these strikes are all within the last 15 minutes, and the brighter ones are the more recent ones. Still a healthy concentration with that tornado-warned storm in the southeastern corner of Martin County. That would be just north of the White River, pushing towards the Orange County line. A somewhat smaller tornado threat east of Jasper, and then the lightning picking up again down here in southeastern portions of Union County, but we're not seeing anything on radar that would indicate that there's any kind of severe wind, but we'll continue to watch that carefully. So getting back to the alerts map there, these are our current alerts. The tornado watch continues all the way back into southern Illinois, but I think most of southern Illinois, you're in the clear now. Basically, if the line has come on through, that'll be about it. So a severe thunderstorm warning now for far northeastern Davis County, Kentucky, right along the river, basically, Lewisport, up to near Troy, and then the northwestern corner of Perry County. And then we've got the tornado and severe storm warned storm for Dubois County. But as those expire, we may be clear of any warnings unless we get initial ones down here to the south. Stacey?
Yeah, and right now, whenever they let that severe thunderstorm warning expire for Vanderburgh County over into Warwick County, they have just gone with another special weather statement. We always tell you these are kind of the step down from a severe thunderstorm warning. Always some encouraging news, at least for the time being. But that is out now for central Warwick County and Spencer counties. Again, special weather statement for still some strong storms, just not quite to severe limits. And that's basically what we saw when that line of storms came through much of Vanderburgh County, including the city of Evansville. We had wind gusts that were above 40 miles per hour in some cases, but again, not quite to severe criteria. But winds along that line as it continues to move across Warwick and then Spencer counties through about 10:15. So still for the next 25 minutes or so, could have some wind gusts of 50 to 55 miles per hour and also some smaller penny-sized hail. So again, they've kind of not right now at least decided they didn't need a severe thunderstorm warning as that line continues to move east through Warwick and Spencer County, but still kind of a strong line there. And then also we now have a flood advisory in effect for Vanderburgh County, and that is actually going to go until 11:30 this evening. So if you've kind of maybe been out somewhere or somewhere and you've been kind of waiting for these storms to pass to get home, you're going to be out driving here late this evening and into the overnight hours, just keep in mind in Vanderburgh County some minor flooding from the very heavy rain behind that gust front. So watch for low-lying areas, the typical poor drainage areas. We've had some pretty heavy rain come down here pretty quickly. So the Weather Service not issuing a flash flood warning, but they are putting out a flood advisory again for Vanderburgh County, and that's going to go until 11:30. And still no severe thunderstorm warnings, Wayne, for our western Kentucky counties. Just some special weather statements for some stronger storms.
And good news there. And I want to give our news department a heads up that there's a chance we may actually be able to have our Eyewitness News at 10 o'clock newscast starting here in 9 minutes, assuming these warnings expire and no additional ones are issued. But the severe weather threat has ended for Illinois, so you're in good shape there. The threat just about over with in Evansville and points west of I-69 in Indiana. You can see this line kind of curving back across Henderson. And we got a new tornado warning here, it looks like. And I think this is, it looks like Orange County. And it might have just grazed a portion of Martin County once again. So check that one out, Stacey. That just came down. But it looks like a new polygon has come up for the French Lick area. And I think that's the new one of concern. No other warnings down here along that line, which is now approaching 41A in western Kentucky. But is that what we've got the new warning for? It does
include northeastern Dubois County and also central Orange County, and that's going to go until 11:15 Eastern. So that would take us past the 10 o'clock hour Central, 11 o'clock hour Eastern time. But they're talking about a severe storm capable of producing a tornado, and the part that they're looking at is about 10 miles west of Paoli there in Orange County, and they have it moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. But again,